The hospital corridor smelled of smoke and antiseptic when Director Alan Kessler stormed through the double doors, his face red with fury, demanding answers before the ash had even settled outside. 61 patients had been trapped when the East Wing caught fire during the storm that knocked out half the city's power grid, and yet 57 of them were sitting safely in the parking lot, wrapped in blankets, coughing but alive. Who did this? Who organized the evacuation? He shouted at the nurse's station, slamming his palm against the counter. A young resident, still shaking from the smoke he'd inhaled, looked up and answered quietly, "The nurse you suspended, so, Nurse Delacroix. If you've ever been punished for doing the right thing at the wrong moment, you already understand what's coming, so stay with me. Because this story is about to show you why the people we cast aside are sometimes the very ones who save us." Renata Delacroix had been walking to her car 3 days earlier, off duty, stripped of her badge after a formal complaint accused her of insubordination. For refusing a supervisor's order to discharge an unstable patient too early. She had fought that order because she'd seen what happened to patients rushed out before they were ready, and she'd lost her job for it. That night, as thunder cracked over the hospital and the transformer outside exploded in a shower of sparks, she was in the parking garage retrieving belongings from her locker when the alarms began screaming. She didn't have a badge, she didn't have authorization, but she had 6 years of muscle memory and a heart that didn't know how to walk away from people who needed her. Renata ran back into a building that no longer employed her, past security guards who hesitated only a second before recognizing her and stepping aside. She found the charge nurse frozen with panic, phone lines down, backup generators failing one by one, and thick black smoke crawling along the ceiling of the East Wing like something alive and hungry. While others waited for instructions that weren't coming, Renata simply started moving. She organized patients by mobility, assigned staff to wheelchairs and gurneys, carried a ventilator-dependent child down for flights of stairs herself when the elevator failed, and went back in 3 more times when everyone else believed the building was already lost or by the time the fire department arrived. She had guided 57 souls to safety, including an elderly man in room 412 who later said her voice, calm and certain in that chaos, felt like his own daughter's voice from 40 years ago, whom he had lost too soon. When Director Kessler finally understood what the resident meant, when he realized the woman his hospital had suspended just days earlier was the same woman who had just saved nearly the entire patient population of the East Wing, his fury collapsed into stunned silence. He walked outside into the wet parking lot, past ambulances and flashing lights, and found her sitting on a curb, soot on her face, oxygen mask hanging loosely around her neck, hands still trembling from adrenaline and exhaustion. He didn't know what to say at first. Sorry felt too small. Thank you felt incomplete. So he simply sat down beside her, on the wet concrete, in his tailored suit, and asked her why she came back. Renata looked at him with tired eyes and said the patients never stopped being her responsibility. Just because a piece of paper said otherwise, that some promises aren't written in employment contracts, they're written somewhere deeper, somewhere policies can't reach. If her words just touched something in you the way they touched him, please take a moment to like this video and share it, because the world needs more reminders that true character shows up loudest in the moments we think no one is watching. The next morning, the hospital board voted unanimously to reverse her suspension, and Kessler personally pinned her badge back onto her scrubs in front of the entire staff, his hands unsteady with something between shame and admiration. Renata didn't ask for an apology or a promotion. She only asked for one thing: that the hospital creates a policy protecting staff who speak up for patient safety, so no nurse after her would ever be punished for doing what was right. They named it the Delacroix Protocol, and every new hire who walks through those doors today still hears her story first, long before they ever touch a chart.